So my platform is built around these two first pillars of freedom and faith. And there's a third. The third and final pillar of any well-run, competitive, and desirable state is fortune. Now, I chose the word fortune carefully, rather than the politically correct, vague, and non-committal word of prosperity, because there are some who believe that prosperity can be created by taking others' money and spreading the wealth around. But as society after society has discovered, and what our founders have always knew, this is not what creates wealth. To succeed and be prosperous, a society must provide a meaningful opportunity for individuals to create, own, grow, and personally reap the financial rewards of their successful business enterprises, free from undue government interference. Without this promise and its reality as enforced by our courts, the best and the brightest, those who know how to create wealth through successful enterprises, will not choose to locate or remain here. The genius of America is that it has historically been the place in the world that best provided the opportunity of fortune through personal effort. The importance of opportunities of fortune through effort and skill in this nation is just as important at the state level. The only way Connecticut can entice those who produce and create wealth to choose this state for their businesses is to guarantee a meaningful opportunity to succeed. Such an opportunity depends on freedom and predictability, the exact opposite of the unwieldy, burdensome, complex, political, and irrational business climate that exists today in this state. How would I, as Attorney General, entice businesses and allow opportunities for fortune in our state? Well, first, as Attorney General, I will make sure that law enforcement in Connecticut is fair and just and the minimum required. No more politicized lawsuits or grandstanding against companies. Second, I will work with agencies to focus on prevention of unintentional unlawful conduct. No more gotcha lawsuits. Third, I will end the money-making function that the current incumbent has described as a proper function of this Attorney General's office. There should never be pressure for the Attorney General's office to sue and hold up companies, in essence practicing extortion to generate a revenue stream for the state. This is the behavior of a bank robber, your money or your life, and it must end. And fourth, I would work with agencies to simplify and clean up laws that are too complex and burdensome. Fifth, and finally, I would end the state government's practice of choosing winners and losers among businesses. This is not the proper function of government. Examples of this unseemly practice in Connecticut are almost too numerous to mention here. In casinos, only the state itself and Indians are allowed to profit from gambling operations in Connecticut. Bus systems, the state chooses who gets a license to service what routes, leaving most of the state dependent on autos. Taxi cabs and liveries, the state chooses who can enter the market and severely restricts entry to all to the detriment of inner city residents who are prevented from starting their own jitney cab services and routes to grocery stores that they frequent. Convenience stores can't sell beer, but grocery stores can. Liquor stores cannot sell their products on Sundays where other law-abiding businesses can. Polluted properties. Connecticut chooses which properties are subject to the Transfer Act based on legislative whim, and those who own those properties cannot sell them, while others who own polluted properties can. Electricity. The state grants a monopoly of electricity provision, preventing competitors from lowering the price. Telecommunications. The state chooses those companies that are allowed a franchise monopoly, while forcing competitors out of the market. Hospitals. The state decides which hospitals are allowed to perform which procedures, denying hospitals in remote locations to service their customers and forcing those customers to drive to distant hospitals, all because the state says these other hospitals can provide the service. Tobacco litigation. The state actually sanctioned a government-created monopoly in its settlement with the tobacco companies and allowed those companies to price fix in a way which is unlawful for other law-abiding businesses. And this was all in the name of generating state revenue through what many believe was government extortion of a settlement. As Attorney General, I will advocate cutting costs at the Attorney General's office by reducing the number of lawyers in that office, and just as corporations do, I will review the expanding the use of outside counsel and negotiating new contracts with counsel yearly as market conditions change. The key change in my platform since 2002 is my thinking about the role of the Attorney General in Connecticut. I have listened and heard the people of Connecticut say loud and clear that they want a strong Attorney General. And I understand this, and that's what I intend to provide. To conclude, my campaign is devoted to the rediscovery of the 3 pillars essential to turning this state around: freedom, faith, fortune. I will work with you to create a state where the best and the brightest in the world and in this nation want to come, build a business, and raise a family. The wondrous enterprises they create will benefit all of us and future generations for a long time to come. Connecticut's going to make history this year for many reasons. But one important reason is that Connecticut, in its long history, has never elected a woman as Attorney General. And in 15 years, since the year I was born, Connecticut has not elected a Republican Attorney General. As a Republican and as a woman, with 22 years of relevant legal experience and the courage, judgment, and restraint needed to identify and serve Connecticut's long-term interests, I would be honored to receive Connecticut's vote and serve this great state as Attorney General.
Yeah.